Hello everyone, welcome to the video. I am Subhaman Chattaraj and you are watching Xtropy. Our today's topic is basic integration. If you have never seen this table before or if you have not done integration before, then you are exactly at the correct place. Yes, at the end of the video, you will be able to do these 10 integrations you are seeing on your screen as well as many more types of integration. I will be discussing integration of algebraic terms, trigonometric terms and many more, some substitutions as well, and there are lot to discuss and lot to learn. So without any further ado, let's begin. In differential calculus, we are concerned with the methods of finding the derivative of a differentiable function. So, can we solve the converse problem? That is, if we are given a derivative, can we find its original function? Suppose in differential calculus, what we have learned that if we are given x square, we can differentiate it with respect to x and we get 2x. In integral calculus, we will be given suppose 2x and we need to find its original function. So this is basically the process of integration and it is the reverse of differentiation, or it is also known as the antiderivative, that is the opposite of derivative. So let us see illustrations and we will understand in depth about the basic method and basic idea of integration. Since integration is the inverse of differentiation, the integrals of some elementary functions follow the standard results of differential calculus. Therefore, if you have remembered the formulas of differential calculus earlier, this will be of great help in our journey in integral calculus. So let us begin with the first and one of the most important formula in the entire integral calculus, that is the integration of x power n with respect to x. So you might be thinking that what is this dx? Dx is actually the variable of integration. The variable of integration is very important because if it is not fixed, then you can't integrate a following function. Suppose you have integration of dm, this will result to m. Suppose you have integration of dx, this will result to x. Suppose you have integration of m dx, this will result to mx. Therefore, the variable of integration is an important point in our journey of integration. So, this first formula of integration of x power n dx, the answer to this is x to the power n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. So now we will see a basic proof of if it is correct or not. In indefinite integration, whenever you complete an integration, you must add an arbitrary constant to it. This is very important. I will show you one example and you will understand its importance. So basically I told you that integration is the reverse process of differentiation. Okay. So to prove this, can we differentiate this and find this result? This one. If we differentiate this and we find this, then our integration is correct. So let us differentiate this function. If you are new to differentiation, you can check out the other video on differentiation over the card over here. So let us differentiate this with respect to x. D by dx of x power n plus 1 by n plus 1 plus c. Then the differentiation of a constant is 0. Therefore, this boils down to d by dx of x power n plus 1 by n plus 1. N plus 1 is a constant, so you can take it out. 1 by n plus 1 d by dx of x to the power n plus 1. So we will use the power rule, that is bring it down over here and reduce the power by 1. So 1 by n into n plus 1 into x to the power n plus 1. So this cancel out and this results to x power n. Therefore this matches with this one. So we have done the integration correctly. This is a method to check if your integration is correct or not. You differentiate your result and if you find the original one, you have done it correctly. So now here's a small task for you. You need to differentiate x cube with respect to x cube plus 5 with respect to x, and x cube minus 10 with respect to x, and tell the answer. So pause the video and solve it. So you solved it, right? The differentiation of this with respect to x gave you 3x square. This one also gave you 3x square. This one also gave you a 3x square. So now if you follow the formula of power rule and integrate 3x square, then you must get back the original function, right? So let us integrate 3x square with respect to x. So 3 into x power 2, this will become 2 plus 1 by 2 plus 1. So this 2 plus 1 is 3 and this is 3. So this becomes x cube. If we do not add the arbitrary constant, see what is the problem. The differentiation of x cube is 3x square. The differentiation of x cube plus 5 is also 3x square. The differentiation of x cube minus 10 is also 3x square. But if you integrate this, you will get just x cube. So that's why we add a plus c, that this is an arbitrary constant. And that is why the integration of this type is known as indefinite integration. There's a different type of integration known as definite integration. We will also see a small example of that, and we will cover it in detail in the other video. As I told you earlier also, if you have remembered the formulas of differential calculus, then the integration, that is the basic integration, will be quite easy to you. Suppose we know the differentiation of sin x. What is it? This is cos x. So if you integrate cos x with respect to x, this will give you sin x. And remember to add the arbitrary constant as well. If you differentiate cos x, this will give you a minus sin x, right? So if you integrate sin x with respect to x, you will get a minus cos x. Because the differentiation of cos x gave you a minus sin x, therefore the integration of sin x will give you a minus cos x. You can put the minus over here, then certainly it will be removed from here. Like, let this be the differentiation of minus cos x. So the result becomes minus of minus, and this turns to a plus sin x, right? That is why the integration of sin gives you minus cos x. This same trend is followed in the other formulas as well. Suppose you have differentiation of tan x. So what was this? Sec square x. So if you integrate sec square x with respect to x, you will get tan x. So this is very clear that if you remember the formulas of differential calculus, integration will be quite easy to you. Another important thing to begin with integration is having a quite basic and firm knowledge of trigonometry, because trigonometry is an essential tool and a kind of prerequisite in your journey of calculus. When we begin with differential calculus, you saw quite some basic formulas, such as, some basic rules, such as the differentiation of two separate functions, suppose phi of x and psi of x, the product rule, the quotient rule, and the means if suppose any constant is multiplied, you take that constant out and differentiate the rest. So these are some general rules we have seen in differential calculus. But when it's about integration, these two rules hold over here. There are no product rule or quotient rule in integration. There are only two general rules in integration. The first one being integration of, suppose, a fx dx, and if a is a constant, then you can take this a out of integration and integrate the rest of the function. This is the first general rule. The second general rule is of addition and subtraction. Suppose you have two functions, f of x plus minus g of x, and this entire is under integration. So you can separate these two out and integrate them separately. So these are the general rules or general ways of integration. Got the prerequisites, list of formulas, general rules of integration, what is integration, the actual field, antiderivative, etc. So now let's begin with the part you were all waiting. Let's take some questions. This is example number 1. You are asked to evaluate. This will be the question for all the upcoming examples that evaluate. X power 5 dx. So by the we saw that we can separate the integration into two parts if the operator is a subtraction or an addition. So we separate them out. Suppose x cube dx plus your x to the power 5 dx. So we have just now seen that the integration of x power n with respect to x is x to the power n plus 1 by n plus 1. So x power 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1. Remember to divide this. This is actually a common mistake everyone does. Now x to the power 5 plus 1 by 5 plus 1 equals to 1 by 4 x to the power 4 plus 1 by 6 x to the power 6, and the most important, you need to add an arbitrary constant to it. So this is your final result. You can check it that if you differentiate this, suppose you got the 1 by 4, you differentiate it, this becomes 4x cube, the 4 and 4 cancels, this becomes x cube plus 1 by 6. So now differentiate this, 1 by 6 x power 6, if you differentiate this, this becomes 1 by 6 into 6 comes down and the power of x reduces by 1, therefore 6 x power 5, 6 and 6 cancel and you get back x power 5. So this is the integration of this question above. Let's take example number 2. Evaluate integration of root x plus x root x dx. So when you see root x, what does it mean? It means x to the power of half, right? So you separate the integration, root x dx plus x root x dx. This is actually the x power half dx plus x power 1 into x power half dx, right? We can write this like this. Now the integration of x power half, increase half by 1 and the denominator is half plus 1 plus integration of x to the power 1 plus 1 by 2, this becomes 3 by 2 dx. So this gives, this half and 1 gives 3 by 2, this will go and become 2 by 3 x to the power 3 by 2 plus integration of x to the power 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 plus 1, how much is this? This is 5 by 2 and the denominator is also 5 by 2, therefore this becomes 2 by 5 x to the power 5 by 2 plus the arbitrary constant c. So this is how you integrate this type of functions. Now let's take the third example. In this we will learn also something new. Suppose you are asked to evaluate x plus 4x plus 9x up to 100x dx. So do you recognize the pattern? This is x, 4x, 9x. What are these actually? This is 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, then the 4 square will come, 5 square up to 10 square. So will you sit down and add 1 plus 4 plus 9 up to 100? So here's where a formula comes quite handy. Let us take first x common. This will make things more clear to you. If you take the x1 common over here, then it will become 1 square plus 2 square up to 10 square. So there is a formula to add squares. If you have 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square up to n square, the formula is n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1 divided by 6. This formula you will learn in the chapter ahead known as sequence and series. So n is the number of terms involved. So let us use the formula and get the result. If you place the value of n as 10, then you will get 10 into 11 into 21 by 6. So now we cancel this, 2, 3, 5, 7. So this becomes 35 into 11. This is 385. Therefore, the integration results to integration of 385 x dx. Now the integration of x is x square by 2. Therefore, the final answer is 385 by 2 x square plus c. So here we not only learned integration, but also we seen a different formula. This formula is known as the sum of square of n numbers, and this is the formula. I think this formula will be quite handy to you in your future questions. Time for example number 4. Suppose you are asked to evaluate x plus 1 into x minus 1 dx. I told you earlier that there is no product rule or quotient rule in integration. So how do we encounter this one? Whenever you see a scope of expanding, and if it is feasible to you, then you will expand the term and then integrate. So let us expand this. So what is this actually? A plus b into a minus b. The identity, well known identity. The answer is a square minus b square. So this becomes x square minus 1 into dx. So now the question becomes quite simple. Integration of x square minus 1, integration of dx. Integration of x square will give you x cube by 3 minus integration of dx is x plus c. So this is your answer. This is of the type that expand when required. Let's see example number 5. Example number 5 says us to evaluate x square plus 1 whole square divided by x cube. So we know that we do not have any quotient rule in integration. So we need to use the process of separating the numerator. So let's see how it's done. So you can break x square plus 1 whole square into x to the power 4 plus 2x square plus 1 by x cube dx, right? So now you divide each term of the numerator separately and make it into, suppose here are 3 terms, convert this into 3 different integrals. X to the power 4 by x cube, this is 1, plus 2x square by x cube, this is 1, plus dx by x cube, this is another one. So this is your x dx plus 2 dx by x plus integration of x to the power minus 3 dx. So integration of x dx is x square by 2, right, plus 2 into integration of dx by x. What was it? Do you remember? It is actually ln x plus x to the power minus 3. So you need to do x to the power minus 3 plus 1 by minus 3 plus 1. So this, the final answer is x square by 2 plus 2 ln x minus, this is actually minus 2, so minus half x to the power minus 2 plus c. So this is your answer. In this we saw that how to separate the numerator for our ease. Now let's see an example of the type. Remember I shown you this formula that integration of f dash ax plus b is actually 1 by a f of ax plus b plus c, right? So let us see an example of this. Example number 6. Integration of dx by 4x plus 5. So this is of the type like 1 by something linear, right? So we use ln x in this. So we will directly write ln 4x plus 5 plus c. Is this the complete answer? No. If you see here, we divide the final result by the coefficient of x. So what is the coefficient of x over here? It is actually 1 by 4. So the answer is 1 by 4 ln of 4x plus 5. So do you want to see another approach of solving this sum? This is actually the process of substitution. Just sounds tough, isn't so tough. Let me show you. Integration of 4x plus 5. So let us take 4x plus 5 equals to z. Now I will say do partial differentiation of both the sides. This may seem a little bit odd in the beginning, but you will get more sense in it as you gradually progress in the integral calculus journey. So differentiate it partially. 4 dx equals to dz. So in place of dx, means what is dx? Actually dx is 1 by 4 dz, right? So we convert this question into a z. This is actually 1 by 4x plus 5, we have substituted it to be z, there 1 by z, and now write dx as dz by 4, dz by 4. So this actually becomes 1 by 4 dz by z. 1 by 4 is a constant, so it goes out of the integration term, and we know the integration of dz by z, that is ln z. Therefore 1 by 4 ln z plus c. And now at the final result, as we begin the question with an x in the question, therefore we will convert z to the term we have substituted earlier, that is 1 by 4 ln of 4x plus 5. Actually we should put a mod to take care of the domain, plus c. So this is the in-depth analysis of this type of question, or in short you can do directly like this, but remember to divide it by the coefficient of x. This is very important, otherwise you will get a wrong answer. From example number 7, we will be seeing the integration of trigonometric functions. These are very crucial in your application in physics or in mathematics. As I earlier told you that trigonometry is a very basic requirement for your entire calculus. So you must have a firm grip on trigonometry to solve calculus problems with ease. So now let us see the example. Evaluate cos x plus sin x dx. Integration of cos x plus sin x dx. So you separate them, it becomes cos x dx plus sin x dx. The integration of cos x is sin x, and the integration of sin x is minus cos x plus c. Therefore the final answer is sin x minus cos x plus c. You need to keep in mind these minus signs, because a small change of minus sign will turn an entire correct answer to an entirely wrong answer. Therefore these minus signs are very important, not only in calculus, everywhere in mathematics. Any question you solve, you must keep in mind that what sign you are putting in front of what. This is a very crucial step. Example number 8, we are asked to evaluate integration of cos 3x plus e power x dx. So slight change in the format, it's actually cos 3x and e power x. E power x is one of the easiest thing to integrate, because the integration of e power x is e power x and the differentiation of e power x is e power x. A very simplistic function in terms of integration and differentiation. So let's separate the integration. Cos 3x dx plus e power x dx. Now cos 3x. So here x is not alone, it is attached with a 3. So if you directly integrate the cos 3x to sin 3x and leave it like this, it is wrong. I told you to divide the final result by the coefficient of x. So it is actually 1 by 3 sin 3x plus the integration of e power x is e power x plus c. So wasn't it simple? This is your example number 8. Example number 9. So in this question we are asked to evaluate integration of sin x into cos x dx. So think, we do not have any product rule like differentiation. So how will we approach this sum? here is where the importance of trigonometry reflects up so much now. I think you have learned this formula of sine 2x. The formula of sine 2x is 2 sine x cos x, right? So in this question we see that only a 2 was missing. If a 2 would be there, we could write it as sine 2x and then the integration will be easy. So let us bring an extra 2 over here. Let us write this as 2 sine x cos x dx. So if you are multiplying an extra 2, you need to divide it by an extra 2. So this is basically 1 only. 2 by 2 you cancel, it becomes 1. But this is very important. It's a key step. Now you take this half outside. So it becomes half integration 2 sine x cos x dx. So now you can write this 2 sine x cos x as sine 2x. So this becomes half integration of sine 2x dx. So you can write this as half. The integration of sine 2x is cos 2x with a minus sign, of course, divided by another 2 plus c. So the final result is 1 by 4 cos 2x plus c. So we also learned that how to approach. Really seem that there must be any product rule to approach this question, but we need to use the trigonometric identities and several other substitutions very cleverly to convert the question from an unusual form to a form of our ease. Time for example number 10. The question is evaluate sine square x dx. Well, till now we learned that yes, we can integrate x square, we can integrate sine x or sine 2x, 3x, whatever it is. But this is like the combination of 2, that is sine square x. So what do we do now? We have to again take the help of trigonometry to solve this question. This very well known identity of cos 2x. We can write cos 2x in 3 forms actually. Cos 2x can be written as cos square x minus sine square x. I think this is the most popular one. You can write it as 2 cos square x minus 1, or you can write it as 1 minus 2 sine square x. So we see a thing of our use in this third form, right? You can write cos 2x as 1 minus 2 sine square x. Therefore, if you bring this 2 sine square x over this side, this becomes 2 sine square x equals to 1 minus cos 2x. So now you divide this by a 2. So sine square x is actually 1 minus cos 2x by 2. So you rewrite this as 1 minus cos 2x by 2. So we got rid of that square and we got a linear term. So now take this half out and integrate them separately. Integration of dx minus integration of cos 2x dx. The integration of dx is actually x minus the integration of cos 2x is sine 2x by 2. So the final result is x by 2 minus 1 by 4 sine 2x plus c. So in this example we saw how to tackle with this type. If suppose the question was integrate cos square x dx, what would you have done? You would have used this formula and converted the cos square x into a convenient form of cos 2x and then integrate. So you are observing the importance of trigonometry in each and every sum, and I will emphasize this more and more again and again, that how important trigonometry is for getting a smooth hand in calculus. So keep in mind these important trigonometric formulas. It's time for question number 11. So the question is evaluate tan square x dx. We haven't learned any direct formula to this. Also, we do not have any product rule in integration. So how shall we encounter this question? Well, we know the integration of sec square, right? Sec square x dx is tan x plus c. We know this one. So if somehow we could convert this tan square x to sec square x, our problem will be solved. So how can we? Yes, you guessed it right. Using that basic and very important formula of trigonometry, that is an identity which you have learned in class 10. Sec square x minus tan square x equals to 1. Therefore, you can write tan square x as sec square x minus 1 equals to tan square x, right? So we can rewrite this question into a suitable form. Sec square x minus 1 dx. So now I think this question is very simple. This turns to sec square x dx minus dx. The integration of sec square x is tan x and the integration of dx is x. Therefore, tan x minus x plus c. So we saw again the importance of trigonometry. It is, I will repeat again and again, it is very important in integration, differentiation and entire calculus. So this is how we encounter this type of questions. Suppose this question was your cot square x. So we would have used this identity, that cosec square x minus cot square x equals to 1. We would have converted the cot square x into cosec square x minus 1 and then followed the same process. Let us take example number 12. It says that integrate 1 by 1 plus cos x. So how do we solve this? Well, this may have several approaches. This approach very useful and easy, that you multiply both the numerator and denominator by 1 minus cos x. So this becomes 1 minus cos x dx by 1 plus cos x into 1 minus cos x is 1 minus cos square x. So this becomes 1 minus cos x by sin square x, right? I am continuing it over here. So if you divide, if you separate the numerator into two terms, this becomes 1 by sin square x, that is cosec square x dx minus cos by sin will become cot x and another sin will become cosec x. So this cosec square x will become minus cot x and minus of this will become minus of minus cosec x. So the final answer is cosec x minus cot x plus c. So we also saw that in this type of sums, if this was suppose 1 plus sin x or 1 minus sin x, we will multiply by the conjugate term and rewrite the question into a different, more solvable form. Let us solve an interesting question, example number 13. It is told that evaluate e power 3 log x dx. So this is very different from all the types we have covered till now. This has e power x type thing and also has log x. Therefore directly we cannot write e power 3 log x. That is not the integration of this. We have to approach it a little bit differently. How? Let me tell you first one important thing, that you can rewrite k as e power log k base e. K equals to e power log k, right? This is a fundamental theorem of logarithms. If you want to know how this came, then you can watch my video on logarithms. It will be given in this I button over here. So, and we have to use another identity, that suppose it is given that n log x. This can be written as log x to the power n. X will get the power which is outside, or this can be also understood that what power x has, it comes down and settles over here. So we will use these two important fundamental theorems of log to solve this question. So we can rewrite this question as e power log, this 3 will go to the power of x, therefore it will become e power log x cube dx. And as I told you that e power log k base e, here it is base e, therefore this will turn to x cube dx. So now the question has become very simple, that is x cube dx. We know its integration very well. E power, from e power 3 log x, it has become x cube. So x to the power 3 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 plus c equals to 1 by 4 x to the power 4 plus c. This is your answer. We have come a long way and it's time for example number 14. Example number 14 says us to evaluate root over 1 plus sine 2x dx. If you know the identities of trigonometry, this sum is very easy for you. If you don't know, then learn the identity I tell you now. You can rewrite this as 1 can be rewritten as sine square x plus cos square x, right? And you can write sine 2x as 2 sine x cos x. So do you see that this is a square plus b square plus 2ab. This is actually the expanded form of a plus b whole square. So you can rewrite this as sine x plus cos x whole square. So the square root goes and this square goes, this becomes sine x plus cos x dx. So now you integrate sine x, it becomes minus cos x. You integrate cos x, it becomes sine x plus c. So this is another type of illustration. This is an important one. You can also get over here 1 minus sine 2x, then you have to convert this to sine x minus cos x or cos x minus sine x as per the domain given. Let us solve example number 15. This example may initially look tough, but it is the most easiest of the last 4 or 5 examples. Suppose it is told that evaluate log x by x dx. So we know that we do not have any quotient rule in integration. Therefore, how do we approach this sum? This sum will be solved by a substitution. Yes, this is actually an example of integration by substitution. I will also make a further detailed video on integration by substitution, but this is just an easy example to let you get familiar with the concept of this. So how do we solve this type of questions? Let us take log x to be z. Okay, if you differentiate both sides partially, it becomes 1 by x dx equals to dz. If you are confused with this idea of partial differentiation, let me tell you another alternative way to understand. Suppose you have log x equals to z. I tell you that differentiate both the sides with respect to t. Okay, so it becomes 1 by x dx by dt, and this side becomes dz by dt. Now you think that this dt is cancelled, therefore it converts to 1 by x dx equals to dz. So now is it clear? Therefore you can rewrite this sum as log x into dx by x. This is just the original question, only little bit of rearrangement. Taken log x to be z, so let this be z, and dx by x is actually dz. So this becomes z square by 2 plus c. So you can rewrite this question as 1 by 2 whole square plus c. So this is an important, unique and interesting example. Let me take another example to continue the idea of substitution. Nearly similar, just a small change. Suppose the question is evaluate dx by x log x. So this previous substitution will also work over here. We have taken log x to be z and dx by x is actually dz. Therefore this becomes dz by z. What is the integration of dz by z? It is actually log z. And in integration and differentiation, when we tell log, it is predefined that the base is e until and unless specifically specified. So the base it as log z or ln z. So log z plus c. Now you insert the value of z. This becomes log of log x plus c. So I have shown you 2 examples of integration by substitution as well. Before ending the topic of today, let me show you one small example of definite integration which you may find useful in physics. One very simple example. Suppose you are given that evaluate x dx 3 to 5. If this type of question you find, here the 5 is known as the upper limit and 3 is known as the lower limit. So what do you need to do? First do the simple integration, that is the integration of x is x square by 2. Now put a box on it and write the limits in this manner, 3 and 5. Now you put the upper limit first, 5 whole square by 2 minus, now you put the lower limit, 3 whole square by 2. This becomes 25 by 2 minus 9 by 2, this becomes 8. So this is a very small example of definite integration. And previously I have shown you integration by substitution. There is another type known as integration by parts, where we solve questions of this pattern u v dx, quite like the product rule but not exactly the product rule. This is integration by parts. So to know more about integration by substitution, integration by parts, definite integration, I will make separate videos on them. Don't forget to check them, and thank you for holding on so long. Hope to see you in my next video.